Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to Game and Compute. If you happen to be a first timer here, what this podcast is about, a lot of times we're on here talking about side hustles. We talk about money management, different things related to finance, just primarily things that you can do on your own. I'm going to be recording a few episodes that are tidbits episodes. They're going to be a little bit shorter. To start things off, we're going to start to talk about podcasting in general. You know, a lot of people are getting into podcasting. A lot of people are getting interested in podcasting. Listening to podcasts. They're becoming super popular, and that's either through, just audio, listening to like auditory, content, or even visual. There's YouTube videos, and I believe Spotify has an option for video content as well. I have not yet used that at this very point in time, but there are a lot of platforms that you can connect a podcast to, and overall, podcasting can be free for you. As you guys know, I record through Anchor.fm, and you can broadcast from Anchor to Apple and also Spotify and a lot of different popular types of podcasts. So that's one cool thing about Anchor. But people sometimes like different platforms for different reasons, whether that's the analytics or, being able to, maybe, get like a .com, domain, and using like Google AdSense, and, being able to monetize that way and make more money through ads, paid ads. But today we're going to be talking just in general about posting times. So I'm likely going to be using this small series here, this small podcasting tidbits series, to be talking about posting times. And so you guys know that when I post, I ramble. I post, I don't know how often. I've tried to set schedules for myself. I've tried to set recording times for myself, but I notice when my schedules change, because from time to time my routines and schedules do change, that does impact how often I'm posting. And so I guess when you look at like frequency and duration, right, like how often you're posting and how long those posts are, generally what the whole purpose is, when you're trying to make money. Now, you're not always trying to make money. Not everybody wants to make money. Some people don't care, or some people aren't at a phase where they care, right? But if you are a person who cares and you're trying to make money, I can talk about what's recommended. Usually it seems like people who have episodes that are approximately 10 to 16 minutes long, that's counting the advertising, the ad breaks, the intro music, any kind of other stuff that you throw in there, and posting daily appears to be able to get you, after approximately maybe 4 to 5 months of posting, people often see increases in the amount of views, listeners rather, in the amount of subscribers, or in the amount of engagement, just in general. And this leads to income. So just looking at it in that manner, that's kind of one thing to look at as far as, the frequency, the duration. Some people, maybe they've been posting podcast episodes from about 2018 through 2022. At the moment, it's July 2022. But that's kind of the golden method for a lot of people. Now, anything that I mentioned, I mean, it doesn't apply 110% to every single person, right? Some content people might not be interested in enough, regardless of how many episodes you post. Some topics might be too niche. Say, for example, I don't even know, like if you had I'm not saying don't do this or do this. I don't even know, but I'm just looking around my room thinking of a random thing. And if you had a podcast about how to repair backpack zippers with different brands of backpacks, right? That's random. And I don't think people would really be looking specifically for a podcast, right? That would be more of a video tutorial so people could watch you do it. And maybe if they were taking different brands of backpacks and, altering them or, pimping them out or, refurbishing, I don't know what. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a thing. I've never heard of it, but I mean, just about anything you could come up with off the top of your head, there's going to be somebody who has an interest in it. Now, some things, are trending topics. Some things are not trending topics. But in general, when you see, certain things that people like to listen to that you can hear while you have headphones in, you might be running, you might be walking, you may be in the gym, you might be doing errands around town, listening in your car, you might be going on a lengthy drive, you might be just sitting in your house, actually sitting, listening to a podcast. I feel like a lot of people multitask with their podcasts, listening. That's kind of the sense I get, that people want something on the go. Now, if you want, it depends what you're recording. Some things don't need to be very, very lengthy. If you're describing a whole process start to finish, it's likely going to be long. If you're describing something that's super short, some people do meditation, skills or, I can't even think, something around those lines. That's you might not want a 3-hour meditation, that might not be what you go for. And then in addition, you want to consider not just the time and how often you're posting and how many years or months or weeks you're posting. Definitely the consistency counts. Definitely the time can likely fluctuate. Shorter, people might want to check it out more often because it's minimal risk, minimal, time potentially wasted if it's not something they want. But depending on the topic, like I mentioned, some people want longer topics, right? If you're talking about some intensive spirituality topic or something and you only talk about it for a couple minutes, people might want more than that. So taking those types of things into consideration, as well as the titles that you use, headlines and maybe if you have brackets or in parentheses and things like that, subheadings and all that kind of stuff. Some topics you need more, you might just need more, in all honesty. You might need more details. Your channel might have less appeal to the listeners if they don't know what it is, right? If you go through a title and you read the titles and it's how to feel better podcast, or I mean, I'm not even saying these really exist. It's just, or like motivation for writing music podcast, or, versus like the backpack zippers example. If you had something about backpack zippers and you named it like Zippy Fly or something like that, like nobody's going to know what the heck that means. They're going to literally have to go into your podcast and listen to it. And if there's no explanations whatsoever about what you're doing, people can't really guess. And also considering with podcasts, depending what a person's doing, they might want longer podcasts. Like, for example, when I go to the gym, and I'm sitting on like the bike or something, I like podcasts where, first of all, like, are long enough to get me through the workout. So you might not want a 10-minute, 5-minute podcast episode, or multiple 5 or 10-minute podcast episodes if you don't want to keep having to press the buttons and look at your phone and go back in, or if you're driving, for example, and you can't be literally on your phone looking at it and clicking things around, you might want a lengthy podcast that's the whole time of the drive, or most of the time of the drive, or a big chunk of the drive, versus like a bunch of like 3-minute little things, because then you're going to constantly have to be looking at it and you're distracted. And so those are things to keep in mind as well. Like who's listening at what times and when, and what is it that they're probably looking for. And then like if somebody is actually trying to do something like working out or driving or whatever. Like, for example, I listen to Dave Ramsey. I usually have it on YouTube. I do have a subscription to YouTube that I pay for. And so like I pay for premium. And so I don't, I can have the home screen off, in kind of like that sleep mode where, it's all blank on the screen, but you can still have it connected and, I can have my headphones in and still be listening to YouTube without literally having to look at it on my screen or having my phone open. And then, if it's in my pocket or something, it might accidentally be like clicking other videos or something like that. So that's why I like premium, because I do listen to YouTube a lot, even though there are videos. So for example, I like Dave Ramsey because I like the content. But the one thing I don't like is that there are ads in the middle. And the more you listen to the same podcast, you hear the same ads all the time. So he's got these for like blinds and windows and this movie and different books coming out and all this kind of stuff, and different like conferences they have coming up and all these things. Like sometimes I'm just like, dude, I don't want to hear about any of this, because if I listen to it almost every day, I'm hearing the same thing every day, and it's like 2 hours, and every so often there's like ad breaks. And so, the one thing I don't like is that, I have to kind of like open the phone and then like, kind of fast forward a little bit through it, like scrub through it a little bit. So if you know your listeners and kind of, I mean, it's not really fully possible to tell unless you do like a survey, or unless you kind of have a niche where it's like, maybe you're doing like a meditative type of things, you probably don't want ads in the middle of your meditations, like different things like that. So the length can matter, how often you're posting. Some people say if you post once a day, that's good. If you post twice a day, that's good. But you might actually get a little dinged for posting twice a day sometimes, depending, because there's another part of this whole system where if you're posting more often, it might do something to the plays. So for example, if you post 2 episodes per day, let's say 9 a.m., 9 p.m., right, every day, then, it's like a certain proportion of the people watching. So say if you have, I don't know, 100 subscribers, right? And then you get 100 new listeners every day, right? But your subscribers maybe aren't listening to every single post like every 2 posts every day. they might listen to one. So then it looks like technically your subscribers aren't listening to all of your episodes, every day. Or, people might not listen to all your episodes every day. It might decrease the chances that people are going to listen to the episodes. But again, a lot of it's analytics, testing, looking at analytics. And that's probably one thing to keep in mind. And then again, like a lot of people with podcasts post for multiple years before they start seeing anything. And it's hard to really develop strategies other than trying a lot of different things. So, these next little tidbits episodes are going to be revolving around like strategies that people have talked about overall. I've kind of compiled a list of strategies that help and work for people. And again, it's not all 110% for every single person, but if you're looking for methods to use and things that you might want to tweak here and there, these are some things. And so for now, thanks for listening.